Okay, I'll give you a quick lesson. I already started the video. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Now, if you were to now, some of the slides. By the way, there's a video of this. Get you some water. Be Robert's going to go on the electronic train. You can go on
Oh, nice. Yeah, we're making it look good, aren't we?
Morning. Yeah, there's a lot of hype job. We got a lady just think about back. Thank you. Right now it's quite numbers
Thank you so much. And I get a stack change it all around.
There are numbers on this one.
We need your keys. Donnie and Jamie's got to get out.
Good morning. Thank you for your patience this morning. We're changing our services around a little bit. Bev, you go ahead to that first slide because we've had a medical emergency keeping prayer Pam Klein, taking her to the hospital. She's having some chest pains, so they're waiting on the squad. These squad's not here yet. What we'll do is give congratulations to some individuals first, and I'm going to begin with those. I believe they just walked in. Where are you? Emily, Jolene, and Jadis. I'm going to invite you up here to the stage with me. They were baptized by their mother yesterday, the three of them. Oh, and Jadis. one in size large? If not, I think that was it. After that, come on up here and just do this space for congregation. Look on these nice people. See how you doing? I've got a certificate of baptism. And later, so you take these with you, make sure that I have filled out their dates.
Not really.
So say things like this.
Okay, I don't care if you don't like him or not.
Stuff like that, right? That's the best decision you want to make. Is Alexis here this morning?
No, she's not feeling well.
Lizzie, will come up here in her behalf, would you? Want to congratulate our yesterday that Alexis is graduating from high school, and I think you also have a son Tyler. Graduating, is that right? Tyler's graduating from college. You guys are old now. Now, somewhere else, we've got somebody, I think her name is Kelsey. Kelsey, why don't you come forward? Kelsey Fogle. Mercy. You can't be graduating yet, you're only 12 years old. It's not good. We're going to give you a gift from the church. Children will love for you. I'm looking at some of this stuff and I'm saying, put all this stuff. Second place, parliamentary procedure, that was 7th grade. National Honor Society induction. 4-H club. Vice president of the 4-H club. She was in 8th grade. National Honor Society president of 4-H club. 10th grade, first place, parliamentary. How'd that feel? That's pretty cool. President again, 4-H, an acceptance letter at JBS for health technology. First place in CPR, I tell you. Going away with grandma, okay, we're praying for her. 4th place in state for CPR. First day treatment. President of 4-H club when she was 11th grade. Listen to this, in 12th grade, she attended Kent State full time. Said, what's that? TUSC. It is okay. Full time. A major in science and also completed the EMT basic course. She's waiting on the national registry, and after passing national registry and obtaining her national EMT basic license, she says almost a certain job. I'm talking about starting the end of June. That's this next month. She'll work there where she'll take her basic knowledge test on July 11th to get in at Akron Medical Center paramedic program in 2017. And while working, she's still going to go to school for the paramedic program. After the paramedic license, she plans to go to nursing school to bridge her paramedic license with the RN licenses. Then she's going to continue to work to give her flight nurses. I'm talking about helicopter, I get going in the helicopter. I was told us in high school that you got to write down the goals. And they say, out of all the people who go to high school, only 3% write down the goals. But if you write down the goals, they say about 97% of them actually achieve them. We know you're on your way. So God bless you. And we love you. Let's open with awesome God. And instead of going into the meet and greet today, after awesome God, let's go together in prayer. All right, let's stand as we sing. We begin with awesome God. awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. Our God is an awesome God. Lord, today we are grateful that not like the world, we can come to you and say you are our God. Personally, we pray, Father, at this time as we open up this service of worship and praise for you. We also be with our sister Ian as they prepare to take her to the hospital. Lord, whatever the cost of pain and test, we pray that correctly assess that. Keep her safe and calm and sure assurance of who she is and who she belongs. We love her, Lord, so we ask all of those around the world that call on you today for them places before you as well in this congregation. In Jesus' name. Amen. Lord, I lift your name on high. You go sit down. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save my life. You keep my head to shine from the earth across my death. Across the great mountain, the sky, Lord, I lift you on high. Lord, I lift you on high. Lord, I love you. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You give a hand to shine from the earth across my death. Across the great and great sky. Got words. Show the way to cross my head. Across the great and great sky. Lord, I came on high. Lord, I came on high. I guarantee if you were drowning on the lake, you'd be raising like this, not like this. Now, see, just learned that Lexi here, Lexi's graduating too.
Yes,
Didn't know that. Congratulations to Lexi. Want to get some word to her on it? Slow these get down. Right? All right. Then on our third time, we've got several listed there in the program. I want to bring that to your attention, and while I'm doing that, everything's a little out of order this morning. That's good in a way, but not good. It's good to pay better, at least I'll pay better attention to what's happening. Couldn't fit it into the bulletin, Denise, but there it is, 942-1953, her new phone number, little slips of paper back there. And somebody famous this morning, 1953, I just don't know. Yes, George.
I was.
Okay, there you go. So just remember when George Bowles was born. Feel that? Everybody's doing math right now.
64.
Also, congratulations to Jeanette Marks on the birth of her great granddaughter, born Wednesday, May 16th at 4:31 in the afternoon, 6 pounds 15 ounces. Elizabeth Kumar. Is that right? Kumar. Elizabeth Kumar, born to her son Jim's daughter, Cassie and Andrew Kumar. Hope you follow all that. But anyway, great. You must have married when you were 10. Also, June 2nd, Friday, we'll post this invitation hall for Kelsey's graduation party. And it's going to be at their home. All right? So, you need directions out there, we'll get you out there. That's June 2nd, Friday. That's the one we have so far. Prayer requests. Very first one, our outreach to lost. Like you personally need prayer for individuals, faithful individuals, let's clarify that, faithful individuals among yourselves who would be willing to step forward and help teach in our Sunday school programs. We have a couple of classes that are open. We want to have teachers in position so that we can have those who come have teachers. By the way, if we had more than one teacher for each class, you could either team teach together, or you could teach a week and have off a week. Teach a week, have off a week, and share. Be kind of like VBS. Have a curriculum, I think, to follow. We're working on that. And so pray about that, please. And if you believe the Lord can use you to help teach others, teach these children the good news about Jesus Christ, check with our leaders, check with Ron, go to them, or go to voters. We want you to pray about it, and if you're willing to step forward and do that. But faithful individuals are willing to commit to teaching to others. Now, a lot of names came across the prayer post this past week. If you want to call me and get clarification, because I got 35 seconds usually on a calling post. It's something we put in more than one. Can't go into a lot of detail, but we had some individuals that were mentioned, like Steve Heil and Sherry Hartz and Norman McGiffett. I think these are the ones that Tom called about, were friends of Tom. Either that or Edie. Sometimes I get turned around, but I get the names kind of turned around, but they're all dealing with. The first two are dealing with cancer. The other is still Trinity West.
No, just the first.
Oh, just the first two. That's right. He had two. He had three. He had Norman McDivitt at Trinity West, and then Rhonda Matter recovering from a stroke, and Robert Odell for health related. Is Norman still at Trinity West? He's still there. Okay. So those are individuals. A lot of times you don't know who these individuals are. I heard church one time was a neat ministry they had. They would simply, like families that lose loved ones, they would they read their newspaper. Sometimes people are listed in the newspaper that are in the hospital. Or you can just take a phone book and open it random and say, I don't know who these people are, I'm going to pray for them. Just go, you pray. Or you just go to the hospital and you meet people. I meet people all the time and just say, I don't know what your problem is, but I'm from the Church of Christ and hope them. God's good. God cares, and this one was praying for you. Something to think about. I did not put Pam. I know Pam Klein was supposed to go tomorrow for some test results. Glenn Christie, he's home. I think we woke him last week. Glad to see you didn't go back. He's having some health issues with your leg, and he says, I caused it. He said I was contagious. Praying for that situation for you, go ahead. In regard to the other prayer request, the Burl DeSantis, a real good friend of Sam's and Bessie's at Walmart. Her name is Lenine. That was her mother. Her mother passed away a couple nights ago. So appreciate your prayers for us as we go over tomorrow and also Tuesday. So I think it's Midway, PA, help minister to the family there. So Lenine, that was her mother who passed away. My ankle is improving. Thank you for your prayers there. Sally, still on for the 31st. Over there, that messed me up, Sally. Chuck Craven also for answers to his medical needs. Got here that Diana, you going in, I think you said Wednesday. Diana Drummond going in Wednesday, I think you said for surgical consultation. Ran into Rick. By the way, if you want to visit people, you don't know where they live, just go to Trinity West. And the four of our members right there at Trinity West. And Rich and Debbie come in. And Debbie, hope your hip is feeling better. Okay, praying for healing there. Ellie Dio, we've been praying for time. She's home, so still under medical care. Kind of a, what would you call it, delicate? Is that right? Delicate situation.
Yeah, she's being closely monitored right now.
Closely monitored. Appreciate your prayer for her. How old did you say she was? Never mind. 81. Okay. Maybe that's classified. I don't know. But she's really a go-getter. Usually she's out there doing stuff. Jeanette, praying for you as well, for your health to be renewed. Jerry and Joyce Keepers, just down the street here in the high, still on chemotherapy. pray for them. They appreciate your prayers as well. I didn't receive any prayer cards this morning. Like any other subjects. I saw Lincoln waving his hand there. Okay. All right. Logan, did you choose anybody for prayer? There you go. Will you? Okay. All right. By the way, I had this, for some reason, I was reading through the words of this song this morning. We sing it, we don't often think about what we're singing. And it finally dawned on me. This is the model prayer that Jesus taught his disciples to pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. All right, so as we sing, think about it. That was actually singing the model prayer. And as we say, Our Father in heaven, we hallow thy name. May thy kingdom grow, on earth be the same. Oh, give to us daily our portion of bread. It is from thy bounty that all must be fed. Forgive our transgressions and teach us to love, that humble compassion which pardons each soul. Keep us from temptation, from evil and sin, and thine be the glory forever.
Lord, we want to take this time right now to pray. You bless all the ones on the list, Lord, all the ones in need. Sisters, Pam, all of the Lord, they're all important to us, and all our family, brothers and sisters. Take care of them, minister them, Lord. Direct us in a way to help them, be it physically, be it spiritually, through prayer. You know the answers, Lord. You use your Son to make us great and strong, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Like Brother Ron at this time. He's coming. I'm going to make sure my phone is silent.
I want to let you know that Pam's in good hands. She's in the Lord's hands. And the squad was out there and we had plenty of help. They're taking her to Steubenville for now. And she'll probably be admitted there. I would assume. You never know what goes from that. But she's in great hands. They're well satisfied with the people who are out there and what they're doing. So, Donnie was supposed to do our meditations this morning, so I'm going to kind of wing it if you all don't mind. In 1 Corinthians chapter 11, this is a part of Scripture that really kind of hits home for me. I've learned that sometimes with all the things that go on, I don't get myself mentally prepared to take the Lord's Supper. And I truly believe that you need to kind of sit back and think about why you're here and why you're about to do this. You know, this is part of our worship. It's not something we do lightly. We take it very, very seriously, and you should. It's a time that you can commune with your Lord and get right with Him. You know, not everybody thinks this is important, but we do. I do especially because, you know, I'll just let the Word of God speak to you, and then you take it from there. For I received from the Lord that which I also delivered to you, and that the Lord Jesus Christ, in the night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he broke it and said, "This is my body, which is for you. Do this in remembrance of me." In the same way, he took the cup also after supper, saying, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood. Do this as often as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes. Therefore, whoever eats or drinks the cup from the Lord in an unworthy manner shall be guilty of the body and of blood of the Lord. But a man must also examine himself. In doing so, he is to eat of the bread and drink of the cup. For he who eats and drinks judgment to himself, if he does not judge the body rightfully. For this reason, many of you are weak and sick, and a number sleep. But if you judge others, or if you judge yourselves rightly, we would not be judged. But when we are judged, we are disciplined by the Lord so that we will not be condemned along with the world. So then, my brethren, when you come together to eat, wait for one another. If anyone is hungry, let him eat at home, so that you will not come together for judgment. For the remaining matters I will arrange when I come. Think about why you're here, why you're about to do this. It is something that should be very important to you each, not only today, but every day when you commune with Him.
Hear, O my Lord, I sing praise. Hear what I'm touching, handle things unseen. Hear as with fervor and eternal praise. And though my weariness upon thee, I have no help but thine word by me. Another arm safe back to lean upon. It is enough, my Lord, enough in me. My strength is in thy might alone. Mine is the sin of thine own righteousness. Mine is the gift of thine cleansing blood. Here is my road, my refuge and my peace. The blood of thy righteousness, Lord, my God.
What a pleasure it is to be in your house today, Lord. It is such a great privilege to live in this great country and to be able to worship you freely. It's by choice that we do worship you, and it's what we need to think about when we come to you. It's our choice. You've given us a free will. You want us to fulfill all the things that we do. As we gather around the table, let us realize that the bread represents that body that you shed for us. Thank you so very much for dying for me, because that's the only way I will receive grace. In Jesus' name we pray.
Father, we thank you for your awesome love. We thank you for this congregation as we gather here today to share in your body and your blood, Father. Father, we just thank you that you sent your Son to die for us. We thank you for that wonderful, awesome love. And just now, Father, we ask you to bless this cup, which represents his blood, so freely shed on Calvary's cross. Whatsoever reach of others, Father, please bless us, for we ask you in Jesus' precious name.
Let us pray. Lord, this is the time we come to this service to give back to you. We give back to you financially, spiritually, physically. You know our hearts, Lord. We come to you with an open heart, a loving heart. And I pray that you bless everyone here today through your love and your devotion. In Jesus' name, amen.
Join us for the singing of our gospel. Son and Holy Ghost. morning star. Very good. Maybe see it. Bev, do me a favor, just roll the slides until you get to the one that says never forget, would you? I don't think keep going. Okay, just keep going. Go all the way through that. I never put that on the music disc. I thought I had a song there on the PowerPoint, but I never put it on the piano. Now I have my program. We're just going to cut right to the chase. Is that okay with everybody else? Just keep going on the slides until you get to the slide that says never forget. If she keeps going through that one, you realize she forgot. This is Bev's, before we go any farther. Selena, are you feeling better? No. Okay. Don't let this make you feel worse. I give you permission to punch me on the way out. But a few weeks ago, you came with the promise that there would be a children's church. And then you came the next week and we didn't have it. And Mother's Day, you were sick, we didn't have it. That was Jamie's mama that just went to the hospital. And Jamie's the one that does our children's church. So guess what? We've got children's church right here. Is that okay with you? Oh, I actually got a yes. Selena, we love you. Sit back here. You don't give up on that, right? Okay, we want to have one of these days. Unless someone else was chosen to do children's church for you. We'll see the hands going up. And then, of course, there's $1,000 in the back here for a future. Selena, I want to let you know that's why that has happened. I've had a little conversation with your grandma about that too. You know, we're telling the truth, right, Diana? This is one rare time you can say the preacher's telling the truth. Okay. Having said that, I got to laughing at the end of the communion. I have to apologize. It was distracting. Then we're coming forward. I got to laugh because Bev, this is her first time doing PowerPoint. So we give her a hand. What do you? Are you still nervous back there? She's still a little nervous. I got to thinking, I'm sitting over here, and the men are coming forward, and I'm looking back at Bev, and I'm thinking, I wish I had a container of dry ice back there right now, and someone take off the lid. And that smoke start rising through the air behind the computer. Wouldn't that be cool? Make the computer on fire. Okay. I'm going to abbreviate my message some today, if that's all right, also with you, because I want to repeat some of this with Kelsey. But I have to read this first. It's I just read the other day in the Restoration Herald. Let me get the Restoration Herald. We still have some copies there. And this gentleman, this preacher, Tom Claiborne, he's been writing articles. It's a section that's Let Me Illustrate. This is his last column. He's doing other things now. He's been doing that for 20 years. Sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's humorous. I thought, for any of our guys, when you're ready to preach a sermon, right? Tom's like going, we were talking about that yesterday. You could use this. Here's how it goes. So a young man was studying for the ministry at the seminary. They required all male students to speak at least once for the weekly chapel services. This fearful student made it clear that he absolutely did not want to preach in chapel. Can you relate to that? Well, finally his turn came, and trembling, he ascended on the stage, and feeling woefully unprepared, he began his message with a simple question by saying, "Do you know what I'm going to say?" And everyone in the audience shook their head negatively. He said, "Neither do I. Let's stand for the benediction." His superiors were upset, but told him they would give him another chance. Wasn't he glad? But the following week, when his time came, he again opened with the same question, "Do you know what I'm going to say?" And this time they nodded their heads yes. And he said, "Well, since you already know, let's stand for the benediction." This time the staff was furious. So the preaching professor informed me he would have one final opportunity. And once again, the student inquired of the audience, "Do you know what I'm going to say?" A bit confused, some shook their head no, others shook their head yes. And he said then with conviction, "Let those who know tell those who don't. Let's stand for the benediction." Tom goes on to say, this is Tom Claiborne, minister of the Bethlehem Church of Christ, that's located in southern Ohio. He said, "I don't know whether or not this hesitant preacher ever made it in the ministry, but he certainly offered one of the best possible descriptions of evangelism. Those who know telling those who don't." Let's stand for the benediction. 1977, when I graduated, they had a speech. You know, if you've been a part of graduation, they always have a speech, right? Someone keynote speaker. I don't know who he was. I do remember this about his speech, though. Right at the conclusion, he said, "Now, students, if there's ever anything you should never forget this." And he paused, reached in his pocket, took out his reading glasses, looked down at his notes to read what we were never to forget. I, to this day, don't know what he said. I never heard what he said. That's all I could think was, he just told us we should never forget this. This is the obsessive compulsive disorder. I'm able to pick out things a lot of times like this isn't right, something's odd about this. And I thought it very odd for him to say, you should never forget this. And then he had to look and read in his notes, but we were never to forget. Extremely odd. If I could give you some things, some scripture this morning, I would point you to 1 Timothy chapter 4. I would point you to Psalm 37. And I would point you to Proverbs 3. And really all I need to do is just give you those main chapters today. And that's what I'm going to do. Because there's so much more in there than what I intended to share, what I share today. But I want to give you those three and yet a fourth scripture. On the fourth one, I'll give you the actual verse. Again, I said 1 Timothy 4, Psalm chapter 37, and Proverbs chapter 3. The fourth verse is 2 Timothy 2, verse 8. 2 Timothy 2, verse 8. If I were to look at you and say, you should never forget this, one of the things I would say from 1 Timothy 4 is you should never forget what some teachers always told us when we were in school, right? Pay attention. Somebody I heard about that. Was that you? Good job, Stu. I told you this is children's church. Yes. Pay attention. Right? Never forget. Apostle Paul said, pay attention to yourself and to your teaching, for as you do this, you will ensure salvation for those who hear you. So pay attention. Pay attention to your teaching. Psalm chapter 37, in Psalm 37, particularly verse number 4, this was a verse that was written for me in a Bible book given to me when I was adopted. I was only 2, so I didn't know about the book, but a Sunday school teacher at the Ferry Christian Church by the name of Edna Dean. That was her name. I was named after her about that. They didn't call me Edna. They took her middle name, gave me her middle name, Dean, and then from Edna, they transformed it to Edward. So when I was in trouble, it was Dean Edward from Edna Dean. She gave me this Bible book, and I still have it in the library. Or in one of those boxes when we moved to Hopedale that we hadn't unpacked in the last, how many years that's been. But at the very beginning, she wrote a scripture, and it was Psalm chapter 37, verse 4. That's a good one to mark, don't you agree? Let's say it together. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. You see, if your delight is in the Lord, then the desires of your heart will be in the right place as well. And He's more than happy to give you the desires of your heart, provided that you are delighting yourself in Him. Never forget that. Pay attention and delight yourself in the Lord. The next one comes from Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. Proverbs chapter 3, 5 through 6. And our good friend in St. Louis passed away, and we went to his funeral in September of 1990 or 91, thereabouts. We traveled to St. Louis for Gene Analek's funeral. And his wife, Charlotte, who's still a faithful member of the Lord's Church today, lives in the St. Louis area. Over the years, she has often called and talked with Bessie. They were best friends in St. Louis. And Charlotte always would remind her, I just want you to know, I still pray for Dean and several other preachers that I know every Sunday as they come before the people. Well, Charlotte was a very godly woman, and her husband, Gene, a very godly man. When he died of cancer, as devastating as that was, when she was on the way home from the burial, she had her Bible on the back window. Back in those days, we actually drove cars without air conditioning, the windows were open. And the pages were rustling on the Bible, and she was afraid of it getting tore apart. You ever do that? Go down the road 60 miles an hour, there's a book just papers flying out the window. She stopped the car and went back to retrieve the Bible, and she pulled it out. It was open to Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him. He will make your paths straight. You want God to direct your paths? I was joking with somebody earlier this week. Saying this, I think it was Marquita, I think it was. And she's asking about my foot. And I said, you know what, I've read that. I don't know if I told you this, Marquita. I told her Wednesday night. I read that MRI report, and I didn't understand much of what it said, all that medical terminology. I read it a second and third time. Each time it got a little easier. I understood there wasn't a fracture. I got that part. But I didn't understand the rest. I told them Wednesday night, I said, people say they can't understand the Bible when they read it. It's confusing. I said, I can't understand this report, but I know something's wrong. I need to go to a physician who knows what he's doing. Spiritually speaking, when I read the Bible, even if I don't understand, I know something's wrong right here. Amen? Something wrong with my heart. It's sinful. And I know there's a great physician, God Himself, who can take care of it. I closed that text to Marquita by saying, I'm convinced that Dr. Starkman will get my foot on the right path. And that's what Proverbs 3, verses 5 through 16. That if you acknowledge Him, you say, God, you are Lord. I'm going to bridle my tongue, as we talked about in Sunday school, because I have saddled Jesus Christ upon my heart. Jesus is Lord. I'm going to acknowledge you in every area of my life, God. When I stray from it, I'm going to be quick to confess it. You are God, not me. Then God will honor you by directing you in the way that you ought to go. 2 Timothy 2, verse 8 is the last this morning scripture I want to share before I close. And having said all this, I'm encouraging each of you, as a word of the graduates this morning, to be the example. I tell you what, when I sat at the round table yesterday with these three youngins, with Emily and Jadis and Jolene, I was so blessed by being able to speak with them and them speak with me. I would ask them questions. I used the scripture, Tom, that you use for communion meditation. I think it was 2 Timothy 2. I used that to explain what it meant to be baptized. That verse says nothing about forgiveness. It says nothing about the Holy Spirit, but it talks about the commitment of the soldier. And if you're going to compete in the games, you got to compete according to the rules. And we talked about that. We talked about what sin is. We talked about what it meant to be buried with Christ and to be committed to Him. And what I enjoyed and was so blessed by was to hear these young ones. I know Jadis and Emily and Jolene, they would answer without hesitation. And I'll tell you what, you guys have a mark. I love you for that. Congratulations. I hope you continue to grow in His grace. In 2 Timothy 2, verse 8, what's it say? Remember who? Remember Jesus Christ. When you're tempted to lie, remember Jesus Christ. When you're tempted to commit adultery, remember Jesus Christ. Remember, when you're tempted to cheat, remember Jesus Christ. When you're tempted to go over the speed limit, because you don't have to, remember Jesus Christ. When you're tempted to be mean to somebody, remember Jesus Christ. When you're tempted to not forgive, remember Jesus Christ. Get the idea, right? Whatever the temptation. And that's so that you be the example, so that when your kids come along, or your grandkids, or whoever's in your realm of influence, you can keep to a minimum those stories about, oh, I wish I had. Right? You ever hear that? You stand there before your kids. We all have these moments. I've done it. You've done it probably. Your kid, or your grandchild, or your great-great-grandchild eventually, right? And you're going to be going down some road, and you're going to be thinking, you don't need to be going that way. That's not God's will for your life. And you're going to be relating this story. I remember when I was your age, and I know God wanted me to do this, but I didn't do it, and I could have, and I should have, but I wouldn't, because I thought I couldn't. And you heard that, right? And then you look at your